Okay, the good news
Good
is,
morning, everybody. If you want to turn your cameras on, it will be bottom left corner, I think, of your laptop. If you're on an iPad, tap the screen, and I think it's at the top right to start the camera. Um, and
so the service ends on 9/1, the contract ends at 12.
go ahead and,
So the 109 is.
okay. Um, and as you can see here, this is the ideal setup. So take your time at the beginning here to make sure you get this set up. Ideal setup. Two chairs. The backs of the chairs facing in. This creates your little safety little frame. And this is the playground here where we're going to work on balance and movement. And then you have a third chair that you actually sit on that is behind that space, right? Not like right in the middle of it, but behind it. So you got your playground right out here. And then when you sit down, scoot to the front edge of your chair, hands rest on your thighs. Just a few moments of seated meditation. Of course, we do this at the beginning of both this Monday class and the Friday class. It is like the foundation, the infrastructure, how to calibrate, bring everything into harmony and connection. And we won't spend as long as you might want to in the meditation practice, and that's where you could always pause the video and spend a little more time doing the breathing and then get it going. And also this can be a practice in and of itself to do 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, when let's say your symptoms are kicking up and you're feeling kind of out of whack. Take a seat, create this safe, solid foundation, find your central upright or your zhongjang, and then practice chunwan, meaning softening and relaxing as your means of finding stability. So this is a unique idea through looking at the body and movement through the Taoist lens, or the Tai Chi and Qigong Chinese medicine lens. It's saying, okay, we've got alignment. Everyone would agree that's a good idea. But then where there's a divergence is this idea of holding ourselves upright, which from the Taoist viewpoint actually creates a couple of problems. It impedes the mechanisms. It's like putting rust on the mechanisms and blocking the gears of movement in the body. So when we're tightening things anywhere in the body, we're just jamming up our vehicle. And we're also uprooting ourselves from the ground. So we're giving ourselves less stability, less groundedness, and sort of like a plug in a socket plugging into the earth. It's kind of like we're unplugging that socket if our whole body is tense, and then we're top heavy and more likely to fall, and our mechanisms are awkward, so we're clumsy, right? So we get our alignment, and then we relax. And there's what's called chunwan, or a sinking, a heaviness that we want to allow. So we're not holding that heaviness up. We're releasing that heaviness, and gravity just takes it on down. And then what's left is this state of levity and fluidity and looseness and lightness. That's called Qing Ling. Zhongjang, central upright. Chunwan, relax and soften everything that can be softened. Qing Ling, feel that lightness and that nimbleness. And stay with that quality. Don't bring the tension back into your body. Now, to help with all of this, breath in the nose, filling up, filling up, filling up. Breath out the mouth or the nose. Feel that softening, that melting in. And we're going to do that again. In through the nose. Out through the nose or the mouth. Feel that melting out of what's extra in the system, that relaxing of the nervous system. A few more. Now, again, we could spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a half hour doing just this, breathing, relaxing, keeping alignment. It'd be a great use of time. But let's move on. Slide hands back, elbows back, scapula back, chest up, chin up, arch. So we're moving all the mechanisms from the pelvis to the skull and everything in between. And then slide your hands forward past your knees, hollow the chest, drop the head. And we're just going to do that 4 more times. Hands slide back, elbows slide back, shoulder blades back, chest up, chin up, look way, way up, arch, arch, arch. And then slide the hands forward. Drop the head, round the back. Couple more. So in the beginning, if this is your first time trying this, there's the hurdle of what are we doing, right? So with each of these movements, at first it's trying to just get the brain to understand, oh yeah, okay, we're tipping the pelvis, we're rounding the spine, dropping the head, all the component parts. But as you get to know these movements more and more, then you get to really use them like a valuable tool in your toolkit to clean out residue, rust, blockage, impediment. You get to find areas where you're getting a little disconnected brain to body, and you use the movements to create a better internet connection to those mechanisms, right? Let's come back to neutral. So the next Shen Fa, or body method. Slide left hand forward past your knee, right hand and elbow pull back, turn the shoulders, turn the head. And then we switch. Turn. And then we switch. Turn. And then we switch. Turn. And just keep doing that. So it's a different Shen Fa, different use of your mechanisms. And you might find this movement is either better or worse than the previous movement, right? There's different pathways that we're traveling. There's different places where the tissue might be stuck, where the brain is disconnected. So again, we're just using these movements to improve our state. Come back to middle. Third basic movement, arms hang, lateral, leaning. Lift your left wrist and elbow up, stay relaxed. This gives you a little more room to tip. You try and tip and then come back to vertical, left arm down. Then as you lean, you lift that right wrist and elbow and get that little tip. So this one is very good at, again, the tendency to be holding on to try to keep ourselves balanced. We're trying to train that out to relax and realize there's all this ability to adapt, to move, while retaining stability. So we can be quite loose and yet still have stability. We're just trying to break these states of stasis lock where we're held, right? We got to not get stuck. We got to have freedom through the ranges of motion in order to get the end result of stability and mobility. And then we're back to middle. The top heaviness here comes a lot from the fact that there's a very complicated set of mechanisms in the scapula, the shoulder blades, the arms, the chest, the neck, and head. So that's why we always do this exercise. Forward, up, back, down. We just have to keep, just like you don't floss your teeth one day a week, right? And if you do, you probably have dental problems kicking in, right? So it's the same thing here. We don't want to floss the plaque out of this area only one day a week or not at all, right? Every day we want to get into these spaces and these mechanisms and just keep at bay that encroaching rigidity, stagnation. So the more we learn about the body, the more, again, I'm like, you could say obsessed. I'm obsessed with these practices because I can't not understand what I now understand about what's happening to our body, whether it's Parkinson's or just the aging process. Let's go ahead and reverse. Back, up, forward, down. So just the way the body works. Every night we go to sleep, in the best possible scenario, the connective tissue or the fascia of the body is knitting together, is creating a sort of encasing of stability. But that's why we always wake up sore. We're always stiff. And that's why it's just so important we get up every day and go into these stiff areas and make them less stuck, make them more juicy and fluid. All right? And then bend the elbows and go out to the side and then up. Look how high my elbows are, right? And it's not because I'm forcing, it's because I'm relaxing. I'm relaxing inside of here so that the mechanism is free to lift and lower. And then wrap around in front and lower. And then lift and lower. Around in front, lower. Now elbows back, down, forward, up, forward, down, back, down, forward, up, forward, down, back. We're just getting the mechanisms to move, and therefore we encounter the rust and residue and stagnation, and we jumpstart the little engines throughout the body. Now we go out, cross, and hug, elbows out, cross and hug, elbows out. Christopher, notice what you did there. You blocked your own movement. You blocked your own movement. The arm that's underneath has to go under the armpit. There you go. And that allows you, there it is. So that's the full range there. And then go out. The other arm has to go under. There it is. Very good. Now, elbows down and loose. And just feel this freedom of movement here. Swinging. Swinging. And then let them just hang loose. And then go right arm swing forward, left arm swing back. Swing, swing, swing. Let this turn you a little bit. Feel that internal mechanism. And again, don't even try to turn. Just let go and relax and swing. And notice how this moves your mechanisms just right. It just does exactly what the body wants. And there's little barnacles all through the body here that gently loosen and gently loosen and gently loosen and relax. Scoot a little bit back in your chair. Go right knee lift and heel draws in and then push. Load, foot down. Other leg. Load and push. Load and down. Load and push. Load down. Now the foot and ankle, straighten. We go point, flex, point, flex, point, flex. And then we go tilt the foot in, out, in, out, tilt, tilt, tilt. And then we go in, around, and out. And out, around, and in. And switch feet. Point, flex, point, flex. And tilt a little in, out, in, out. And circle. Reverse. And scoot forward. One more with our legs. Step a little wide. Lift the toes, turn on the heels, knees and toes in. This is internal rotation, closing the quad, the hip space. And then lift your toes and open, open quad, open hip space, external rotation. Internal, external. Internal, external. Mechanisms. Right? Any machine that you allow any of its built-in mechanisms to rust over and not be able to do their job, it impedes the whole, the sum is greater than the whole, or what is it? The whole is greater than the sum of the parts, right? But that means all the parts, however, have to be able to do their thing for that whole machine to be able to do its thing, right? And so that's what these movements help us with. Now, legs at neutral, hip hinge, right? So another mechanism, this folding of the hips, and then sitting up vertical, and then tipping back, sitting up, and then fold, and upright, and tip, upright. One more, fold, tip, and then sit vertical. Now, important, feel how the chair down to the earth is how you're doing most of your support, right? Because you can do this. Try to do this little fast feet thing where you go one lift, and then as you put that down, the other lifts. So the feet are helping us stay upright, but they're not doing the primary job. That's the chair. Again, think of it like electricity, something that can flow through. Us grounding to the earth can flow through the chair. That's how we're doing it, right? So now when it comes to standing up, we got to think like that. We got to go, okay, I got to get down to the earth, and I'm not going to be using my chair anymore. So feet slide back. Rather than trying to power down to get up, instead relax, fold, and just spill the weight out of the chair. Let it go down. And remember that loose quality rather than tightening, loose. And then feel how it just makes it just easier, right? The unimpeded mechanisms in the body. Now do this little movement a couple of times. No bending of the knees. It's just the hips. And then back to vertical, right? So see how relaxed you can be through every other mechanism. And then just at the quad, just fold a little bit. And then back to vertical. So Tai Chi, the coolest part of Tai Chi and Qigong is the fact that we're training how to execute powerful movement, powerful use of the body with ease, with song. Now, hip hinge like so, keep this position and just fold deeper, keeping the buttocks going down, 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 finding the chair with your buttocks, and then sit. And just note that you can do that with song, soft, loose, easy quality. Now fold. Come forward out of the chair. Stay relaxed as possible. Come all the way up to standing. And then hip hinge. And then sink. Find the chair and sit. That looks great, everybody. Couple more. Just loose, learning to stay loose. Eventually, having a zero tolerance policy for tension or clumsy tension-based strength, which the Taoists call Li. So becoming so aware that you never use that tension. That's the idea. Now, don't sit in your chair. Use this ability to sink your bottom, sink your booty, get low, and see if you can use this to touch your shins, maybe your ankles, maybe your toes, maybe the floor, and then just come all the way up. Get really tall, right? All the way. And then hip hinge and hold the body. And then rise. All the way. And then fold. And now, you guys keep your chair where it is. You keep facing forward, right? So when I do certain movements, unless I very specifically tell you to change something in your space, everything I'm doing is based on how you're situated now. And then if I like turn a little bit of an angle, it's to show you different angles that you can't quite see when I'm straight on through the screen. So move towards this right side chair and be a little bit back from the chair. So you're not standing right next to it like this. That will not be as useful as being back from it and have it be off to the right. So this little space is where we get our practice done. Now, first exercise, perhaps the most important one, no hands if you can. Soft knees, relaxed body. Now, if I do this, you notice that if I asked you, hey, which of my legs is my body weight in, you could probably tell me. But notice it has nothing to do with this foot, right? You can see this is where my weight is, but this foot is still touching the ground. So most of the time what we think, if I say, hey, put all your weight in the left leg, people kind of go over there and then they pull this up with some Li or tension-based strength. But what we want to practice here, now go into your other leg, is finding how staying totally loose and relaxed without any effort of any kind, just sort of an arrangement of the liquid, right? Your body, think of it as just a big bag of water, a big bag of liquid. And just arrange your liquid above your right leg. Let the right leg be soft so that you can see my leg has bendability, where the common response to putting weight over there is to tighten and look for tension as our support. Although it can operate and give us support, it's a brittle, unbalanced support, where Tai Chi legs are far more powerful over time, especially. But at first, they feel a little less stable, and so then we respond by tightening. But just try to be very relaxed. Also notice one other thing. When I'm changing weight, what I'm not doing is this, and then this, right? Something is happening. There's change occurring through this soft liquid body, but it isn't a leaning and it isn't a tightening. So at first, when you're first learning this feeling, it's weird. It's something that you're unaccustomed to, and it feels a little less stable. But again, just think of this like you're just sloughing off this unnecessary, extraneous activity. And this is just the most basic function of one leg full, other empty, this leg full, other empty. Now, stay in your right leg. Chair is here should you need it. The left leg being empty, lift the heel, get to the tippy toe. All right, so I turned a little bit to the side. You don't need to turn to your side at all. You just stay facing forward. I just want you to see that my knee goes forward and I lift this empty foot. Now I'm placing the heel down with no weight and then shift. So now full, empty, it's the emptiness of this leg that gives it the power of movement. Right? So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see that a little better. Change your weight to your right leg. Left leg, the fact that it's empty allows it to go whoop, whoop, with ease. And then change the weight. Weight down through the left leg gives the right leg the right? It's easy. But you have to do that preliminary change of weight, and then this becomes not a problem. If you don't do that preliminary change of weight, it's called being double weighted, and your mechanisms are all stuck, and then your only choice is some sort of clumsy yanking on the body. So we're training that out. We're returning to our natural fluid state. Now, stay in your left leg. Now, do use the chair, please, so that you have the confidence to disconnect the foot from the floor. This is a moment of truth, right? You start to realize, oh, I wasn't actually empty, right? Because you could be doing this and keeping weight in it, but the moment you try to pull it off the ground, it shows you your the real state of things. So now change the weight to the right leg. Tippy toe, and then disconnect, right? And then down. So two things important here. Three things, really. Changing weight, of course, like we said. Now, the lift while empty, but also the setting back down while empty so that you're not stuck to the leg and clumsily slamming to the ground. Change the weight, 1. Lift that foot empty, 2. Place it down empty, 3. Change the weight, 1. Boom. Down. And so at first we do these exercises sort of with like stages, call that connect the dots, right? But then eventually, once you're relaxing and using the soft, supple quality, then you do what's called silk reeling. You move as if it's silk. You're just going, So it's smooth. And that smoothness is where speed comes from. That's the next phase, is if you can do all your movements slow and smooth, then the way is clear for fast movement, right? So now, stay in your left leg. Really use your chair this time to go knee all the way up. And just notice there's a maximum range. It doesn't go any higher. The practice here is foot relaxed, knee relaxed. You don't want to be tight in the leg. Try to relax it. And you can see this thing that I can do here. I'm turning my thigh, internal and external rotation, right? Remember those swivel movements. So I'm not saying I want you to force that, but I just want you to see that my hip is also relaxed. Inside of this hip is free. That's really where a lot of the bind is happening, is in the quad. Now change. Use the chair again to go, okay, this leg is empty, and I'm going, and so it's this hip, this whole area here that has to, over time, loosen up. And we want foot loose, want knee loose, and hip loose. And then keep it loose, leg all the way to the ground. And I still haven't put any weight in it, yet I've secured it, or I've touched the ground completely. And then I do that internal deal. Change the weight. So now full, empty, tippy toe, disconnect, lift, and soft and long. Change. Those of you that have been doing it a while and you feel confident and you might feel really sewn, soft, and supple, you can practice going whoop, whoop. So that was fast, but it wasn't rush. Because when I say rush, I mean I tightened up and pulled it and put clumsy, right? Instead, it's just doop, doop. Just stay relaxed. Use the chair, just And if it felt too fast and strained something, go a little slower, but still you can just work on going, yeah. So we're not like so slow that we're stagnant, right? And you start to see how being totally relaxed can suddenly become, wow, really sudden, really quick. And that's what Tai Chi offers us over time, is a return to incredible swiftness. And again, my teacher's in his 70s. When you see these Tai Chi people, you realize, oh, you can be fast at high ages if you know how to use the mechanisms correctly. Now, stay in your left leg, put your right foot in front, heel touching. So really important that this is empty. You see how I'm empty all the way up at the hip. I'm full, empty. Now, saying in Tai Chi, primary direction is down. So even though I'm shifting into this front leg and moving forward, still down is the direction you're thinking, not forward, down. And then shift in that back leg, the direction down. And then into the front leg, down. Chair is still to your right, so that's for safety. And we've got tippy toe, tippy heel. Now, stay in your back leg. Disconnect that heel from the floor. So from this empty hip, right? If I'm truly grounded through here, this is as free as an arm. That's how it starts to feel over time. And then change and let front leg be totally connecting to the ground. So now your back leg is as free as an arm. So you just bend the knee, right? Bend the knee. And then change. So you let that weight get out of the body down through this leg, and you go whoop, up and down. And then you go change. Once the weight gets down through the right leg, then you got that freedom. Change. This freedom. Change. This freedom. Change. Next level, definitely use the chair here so we can go full range, touch the heel, change the weight. Then we've got this leg where we go knee forward and up, toe reach back. Notice it's still empty. Then change. Hand on chair so you can safely go all the way, down. Once it's all the way out of the body, you can feel this leg is free, so then it can go whoop, whoop, and then back. Down gives you the safe up. Right? What gets people in trouble is this up thing where we uproot ourselves instead of let it all go down. And notice how that gives you this Tai Chi body is you let everything go down. And that creates this very dangerous in a good way, meaning like as a martial artist, this is the most dangerous body for someone to deal with. The harder and stiffer I am, if I was in a martial arts situation, that's easier to deal with than someone who's like an octopus who can slither and slide and move. But that's what we want to train ourselves to be. Now we're going to switch sides here. So side step closer to your other chair. Put the weight in your right leg, left foot out in front, empty. Primary direction is down. Change. 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 Continue. So this level one is the best one to do. No hands. Just work on feeling how you can be moved forward through space and backwards through space just by focusing on relaxing downward. Down. Now, hand on chair to safely straight leg lift and lower. Shift. And then hand on chair to safely flamingo. Bend the knee, toe down. Shift. Hip. Shift. Knee. Shift. Hip. shift, knee, shift. Now, hand on chair, all the way, down, shift. Remember, it's the down that gives us the potential safe up, back. It's the down. Shift. Again, it's a weird way to think at first. But over time, you realize it's the way that it is. That's why the Taoist lens, the Taoist insights are the best. They really are. And it's because it is the way that it is. It's just hard to fully wrap our head around for a little while until we go, oh, that's right. I am liquid and fluid. And any tension blocks up my mechanism. So I do have to release those. And then you get this sort of quality that's just really magical. It's a very, very beautiful way of moving. All right, switch sides. Make sure you're back from the chair and it's to your right. Put your weight in your left leg, right foot out in front. Now, change. This back foot empty. Keep it empty as you step. So it's still empty. Now I change. Back, but really back, remember, is down. This foot being empty gives it the freedom to step. And then I shift. So shift without stepping. Step without shifting. Shift without stepping. Now, like I said, when we do these exercises, we do them in this sort of progression. So the first progression is connect the dots, or kind of with these speed bumps in them to make sure we're getting the correct discernments. I'm discerning shifting versus stepping. Stepping, I'm not clumsily falling into the leg, and then I'm changing, right? But of course, we wouldn't walk down the aisle at the supermarket like this. So now in these last few, just do it casual. Just so eventually, it doesn't mean speed up. It just means just try to find that flow. Make sure you drop your arms, relax your shoulders, right? Notice that tendency to cling. It's not helping. Shift. Shift. Now, hand on chair, lift, lower, shift. Now, step over something. Shift. Flamingo. Shift. Very important part of the exercise here. Up, tuck, reach with no body weight. Find the floor, then shift. Lift, lower, shift. The weight going down, staying down, gives me the stability the whole time. And then I say, okay, down. That gives me the stability. And then I say, down. Now the weight has to stay down through your standing leg the whole time. And then you let it go down. One more. Down, stays down. Down, stays down. Down. Now, final little one on this exercise. Up, down, shift. The weight stays down. We go heel to butt, knee to chest, foot out, down, shift. And then we bring this back leg also, knee forward and up. Use your chair for safety, please. Back, shift. And we're going all the way. And it's got to stay down through this leg as you reach. Then shift. Boom. Boom. Down. If it's down and it stays down, should give you the freedom to do all of that with no danger, and then down. Give you the freedom to do all that. Down. freedom to do all that. One more time, level 3 here. Eventually, the relaxed body makes staying down, like I keep saying, down, 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 down. You don't even have to do that anymore because that's where it just goes. So that's why we do scapula, head and neck. We do all this other exercise stuff to clear the way so that eventually that's what Tai Chi feels like. It's the most effortless state you could possibly be in because nothing's getting stuck anywhere. It's just out of the body. And then what's left is all this function, all this lovely function. So now you're on the other side. Weight down through the right leg. Put the left foot in front. Level 1. So this is the most casual one here. Shift without stepping. Step. Shift without stepping. Reverse. Shift without stepping. 100-0. It's the empty quality that gives it the freedom to step. And then we're shifting without stepping. Empty. Again. Shift. Step while empty. Keep it empty. Shift. This feeling, if you can get this feeling of separate empty and full, stay relaxed, don't hold, that's what will then lead you to, it's this same feeling that allows you to walk across the room really fast and even jog, little light jog, little run. So you got to get this, and then it just expands. Let's go level 2 here. Use the chair. We go lift, lower, shift. And then we step up and over something. It's got to be empty. It remains empty the whole way. Then we shift, meaning go down. Flamingo. Back. Down. Down gives you the up. The down gives you the up. That's really the word that has come to just resound as what we're cultivating. This word function. Function. It's the most important thing to make sure you don't lose, right? In terms of how things look or how things, it's sort of the vanity prospect of fitness and all that. But if everything isn't functioning, you're not really getting the results you need here. So we're looking at every mechanism and going, okay, what is your function? Let's make sure that function is still with us. So now this is that level 3 where we're maximizing range of motion. So it's like there is no movement bigger than that. So we've just maximized the function. The highest function in this movement is all the way up, all the way down. Same thing here. It's this maximal movement. Can we do the maximum use of the mechanisms using not li, but son, not tension, but fluid? One more. How do I stay safe while moving backwards? I'm down through here. And now, move to the left side of your space. Turning face downrange. Chairs are here for safety. Stand up tall, level 1. So function. Functional walking down the aisle at the supermarket. Put your weight down to the earth through one leg. This foot's free. You put it out there. It's empty. Then you shift. Shift without stepping. Step without shifting. Shift without stepping. Step without shifting. Shift without step. And just keep that mantra of down, down, right? And especially when going backwards, it's the down, down, down. The weight getting out of the body, down to the earth, grounds you, giving you stability. And that weight not being held in the body allows the body to have ching-ling, or nimbleness, lightness, agility. Now, either go that slow or just try to cruise. Try to cruise across the room. And cruise back. And at any moment that you felt unsafe, I need you to be able to analyze what happened. So be watchful, like an eagle, like a hawk. Just be watching. Go exactly as slow as you need to go to be able to register the data of what are you doing, what are you not doing. Are you doing extra? Are you able to release and relax? Okay? And then one more, either at the level 1 or level 2, where you actually step over something. Change the weight, step over. Change, over, over. Shoulders are loose, arms are loose, head and neck, relax. Careful, right? Careful and cautious doesn't need to be tight. That's usually what we do when we're a little bit scared or cautious. We tighten up. So Tai Chi is this courage to be relaxed in the face of challenge and threat. Now, once you get back to that starting place, turn once again, face forward. All the weight in your left leg, lateral step, out and in, out and in. Very important for so many different reasons, this exercise. Open, close. Usually what happens, we're glued together. The body gets pulled. The body gets pulled. This is clumsy because my quads are stuck, right? Glued together. So what we want to find is open quad, closed quad. Open, close. Where all my weight is here, and this is free. Now, put that right leg out, right quad's open. Now, close the right quad, keep the left foot on the ground, open this left quad, open, right? And then shift back. The weight goes down through left leg, right quad has to open. Don't pull your heel off the ground. Don't let your heel turn in like this. Keep that more or less parallel feet glued to the ground so that in order to accomplish this movement through space, right? And my body's over here, and now my body's a good 6, 8, 10 inches, a foot, maybe even more over here in space. And then now I'm all the way over here in space, and I'm using the space in here to move me through the space out here safely and relaxed. And it's the quad that have to open and close. Now stay down through your right leg. Left leg comes in, out, in, out. A couple mistakes people make with this is point the toe, point the toe. That means you're not actually opening. So try to get this opening. Now, bring that left foot in, change the weight down through the left leg. Feet together, yet still finding the ability to go full, and notice this is empty, and then full, and this is empty, and then full, and full. This one really highlights down, down. Now stay down through the left, step the right foot out. Change. Stay down through the right, step the left foot in. Change. Stay down through the left, right foot's free. Stay down through the right, the left foot's free. Down, step. Down, step. Down, step. My vertical line perfectly intact. Going back the other way. Down, step. Down, step. Let everything be relaxed. Now, keep your feet wide here for a moment. Change the weight and now turn the quad a little bit. So again, this is more what we practice on the Friday class, bear washing paws in the stream. I won't go over this too much because we do that in the Friday class, all the details of it. But again, it's shift and turn, brush and sweep. Shift and turn and brush and sweep. Now we add the walk. So we're going shift into the right, turn, brush knee, sweep the leg. The hands are over on this side. This leg is empty. Step it in. Now change the weight into the left leg, turn, brush knee, and sweep the leg with the feet close together. Now everything's on this side. The body's a little turned. It all stays there and you step. Shift and turn and brush and sweep. Left foot being empty now. Zzz. And then shift into that left leg, turn and brush knee and sweep. Right leg empty, side step. So you should be traveling to your right. Shift and turn and brush and sweep. Left leg empty, steps in. Shift and turn and brush and sweep. Shift and turn and brush and sweep. So this is the simplest, let's go the other way, advanced Tai Chi, as far as I look at it. This is advanced Tai Chi because it's got all the components. We've got the step, we've got the shift and the turn, we've got the arms moving, the hands moving, we're stepping without being clumsy, we're shifting, we're turning. So we're learning how to not only travel through space, but execute something with all the parts, cultivating freedom of movement with all your octopus tentacles. So yeah, it's loose, but it ain't sloppy. It's organized around this quality that gives us far more of a safe and stable feeling than when we're holding ourselves still. This gives us stability kind of, but it makes us very non-functional. Where here we're going, wow. All this function, all this movement. Let's go for the swirl of the stream. So now this hand, instead of being close to the body, goes wow, around and then comes in close and then brushes knees. This one goes wow, big round circle. Again, these are all things we work on in more detail in the Friday class. But again, just kind of think of it from the mechanisms and the spine and the shoulders and just all the tissue and juice and potential glued stuck spots that we're loosening. And so that's what Tai Chi really can yield, is this feeling of function. Now let's go for the bear swats the jumping fish. So now this hand is up here, out there. And then it's brush knee as this one swats the fish up top. Swat. And again, you can get caught up in, oh, I'm reaching my arm, and then start pulling yourself off your balance. That's what we're also working on, is how to stay down and yet extend without losing any aspect of groundedness and centeredness. So as much freedom of movement as you can cultivate, all the mechanisms unbuckling from each other. Now let's try the cloud hands. Shift, turn, cloud, lake. As the hands change, we step in. Shifting, turning, cloud, lake. Change hands as you step. Shift and turn, cloud, lake. Change hands as you step. Shift and turn, cloud, lake. Step. So we're traveling across the room while issuing a specific Shenfa, body method. Now, all these body methods do have a potential. People talk about Tai Chi as a martial art. But what I love about the system that I'm training in is it's like they've got their priorities straight. The system, the real true sort of Taoist approach. The martial application is a result of all the mechanisms and the fluidity being appropriate and developed. So we don't even need to think about the fact that this could be some sort of a block or whatever, right? Because for us, the real threat isn't some martial art conflict. It's our mechanisms being so stuck that we can't move right through space, and then we fall down, or our life just is less enjoyable because our function has deteriorated. And so just really look at everything through that lens of training function, training ease, finding your barnacles and loosening those barnacles. And now come between your chairs and a little bit behind again, so they're in front of you. And now we're going to do this this little bit of a more Tai Chi leg stance. So pour your weight through your your left leg. Turn your right foot out 5 degrees or so. Change your weight into that right leg. Now, step your left foot forward. Notice that my toes point straight ahead, but also notice that my leg is not here. So have that foot out a little bit. So there's, if I were to parallel my feet, that this amount of space, some amount of space is still present between the feet. So again, space is like the playground. If I have no space, I can't do anything. So the practice of Tai Chi is opening up, sort of unfurling the space inside, and that gives us, wow, all this function, right? So anyway, there's that Tai Chi stance. Now, shift into this leg, 70%. Keep this back foot anchored, and then shift back 100%. So 100, 0, this foot could be able to lift and lower. Whole foot is on the ground. So have it wherever you can, wherever you need to have it to allow you to have whole foot down, but free to step. And then shift 70, 30. Notice I didn't pull my heel off the ground. Notice also I'm not collapsing in this leg. So this leg has to stay glued to the ground, foot glued to the ground, and alignment is there. Qua has to open. Shift back. Shift. 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 Switch the foot position by bringing this foot back, heels touch. This toe, this foot is pointed out a little bit. Change. Step this foot forward in the way I described. So we have to have width forward and the toes point straight ahead. So this foot is not pointed out to the corner, it's pointed straight ahead. And there's some width and there's some length. Now shift 70, 30, 100, 0. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see something. Primary direction is still down, meaning I don't go like this and then this, right? It's just down, down, down. Now, heel comes back, toes point out, chain, step, shift, back, bring the foot back, change, step, and 70-30, 100-0. Bring that 0 foot back, change 100-0, step, shift, back, change, shift. So this is where real power with arms, chest, body comes from. If I want to push something, if I want to pull something, it comes from this connection down rather than tightening and being up here and yanking on something. Relax, get connected to the ground, and then use that ability to go from the earth, moving towards, moving away. Grounded and adaptable and fluid. And then we're back to middle, hands together. Rub the palms. Rub the back of one hand, palm. Back of other hand, palm. And claw. Hip flexors. Tail. Lumbar. Now remember the Tai Chi squat. Sit like a squat, running the hands down the outside of the legs, around to the inside of the legs. Stand up nice and tall, 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 hands to the navel. Again, quad. Hip flexors. Tailbone, lumbar, and all those muscles on the back. And then sweeping the outside yang channels and sweeping the inside yin channels to the navel. One more. And then just this final reset of yang channels, yin channels. Same arm, yang, yin. Outer, inner. Sunny side, shady side. Switch arms, yang and yin. Just a reset. And loose. Show. Seal. 1, 2. And then we got here, here, there. Thank you so much, everybody. Really great work. Any questions of any kind, feel free to unmute